Okay, so the last couple of days we have been talking about measuring. We've been talking primarily about measuring in what? Anybody remember what the last couple of days? Hayden, what are we doing?
We've been measuring with the eye drop beat, and then we've been measuring with big,
The big beakers?
yes,
Or the big
beakers.
containers? Okay.
And then we were working on what has the greater what's the word?
What's the word, Kevin?
Volume.
Volume. So we've been measuring with liquid volume, okay? And we're going to do some more measurement today, except this time, instead of doing liquid volume, we're actually going to do some things with fractions, okay? You have a bag in front of you, and in that bag is what we call fraction strips. And I think you guys have probably dealt with these before in math. Did we do fraction strips last year at all?
No.
We didn't do that. Okay, so if you haven't done fraction strips, and this is going to be your first experience. Now, most importantly, you need to listen, because there are some steps that I need you to do very carefully so that your strips look like my strips. Yes, McKenna?
Why are the strips like this?
That's a good question. The strips don't have any lines in them. But what we're going to do is we're going to make lines on these strips as we create these fraction strips. And you'll see right off the bat what I'm talking about. So as opposed to measuring liquid volume, we're going to be measuring in fractional. Okay? We're going to be using fractions. All right? So first thing I want to do is, you can put your strips down. I don't want you touching your strips. Okay? I want to ask you a question. So, if I take this strip right here, not your strip, whoop, hands off the strips, bags down, you no touch the strips. If I take this strip right here and I fold it in half, turn to your partner and tell your partner how many parts I will have to this strip. Turn to your partner and tell your partner how many parts I will have to this strip if I fold it in half. So you can. Okay? Okay, I'm going to draw a stick here. And he's not here. Kevin, what did you and your partner come up with? If I take this strip and I fold it in half, how many parts will I have when I unfold this strip? I'm going to have two. I'm going to have two. Okay. Let's see what other partners came up with. McKenna, what did you and your partner come up with?
Two.
Two? Okay. Try another one here. Zane's not here. Ava. You were with McKenna.
Yeah.
Try another one here. Oh, how about Mackenzie?
Two.
Two? Okay. Brooke.
We
Came up with half. Oh, that's interesting. So, you and your partner, if I fold this in half, you said that I would have two equal parts, or half of the strip. Okay, so what you're talking about is, if I take this strip, and I get the ends to match up, and then that's half. Half of what? Half of what? Okay, and the strip, when I do this, what's the term we use to describe the strip as in this state? There's a term we use. What is it, Noah?
Whole.
It's the whole. Exactly. So, this strip, and every strip that you have in your bag, is representative of the whole. So every time we actually go through and we fold and make our fraction strips, we're going to fold the whole strip. Now, you and your partner said half. Is this half of the whole?
Yeah.
That is half of the whole, isn't it? Now let me rephrase the question. How many equal parts will I have when I unfold this strip? I will have two. Two? Two?
Yeah.
Now if I unfold this and I look at it like this, you can see I have a crease right in the middle here. And to either side of the crease, I've got an equal side. And I have how many equal sides on this strip?
Two.
I have two. Exactly. Now, take one of your strips out, just one of them, and I would like you to follow me on this. One strip. Okay, you can take the other four strips and put them off to the side. You don't have to keep them in the bag, just don't lose them. We'll get the bags back after we finish.
Okay.
So, I want you to take your strips and I want you to fold them in half, and I want you to make sure the ends match up.
And then I want you to crease it right along that edge. Yes, Javiana. Can you get the edge lined up? Now you might have to, oh that's okay. Line it up with the actual cut edge right there. You don't have to worry about the dotted edge. Yeah, let me just make sure. Some of you may have dots. See how Mr. Ergel has a dot? I've got a dotted line right there, just like yours, actually. So when I cut these, I may have bent off a little bit, and so I might have a dotted black line there on the one side, and that's okay, because all I'm going to do is I'm going to take the paper, and I'm going to fold right over that dotted edge, so that my paper, when I fold it, actually is even on the end there. Okay? Get it right there at the edge, and then crease it. Right to the edge. Yep, and then crease it. There you go. Now, if you unfold this and lay it out in front of you, you should have a strip that looks something like this, where you've got a crease right down the middle of it. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, so what I'd like to have you do is, I'd like you to take a pencil, and I'd like you to draw a line on the crease, so that when you're done, you actually see the crease in a pencil mark right there. And after you've drawn that, everybody got it? Yes, Eve.
Also, when you put the pencil mark,
Mhm.
it also matches the dotted line, so it looks like up on the board.
Yes.
And it also looks like a little book, like a little flat book.
It does kind of look like a flap, because you can flip it over like that, and then draw it back like that. So once you put that line in there, how many parts do you have now?
Two.
You still got the same number of equal parts. What we're going to do with our fraction strips to kind of help us remember is we're going to go through and we're going to actually label our fraction strips. So if I was going to take this fraction strip like we have now, and I was actually going to label each side of my fraction strip, what would I write in this side to demonstrate how much of the whole this portion represents? Chloe?
One.
You said 1?
It's 1/2.
1/2. What does 1/2 look like? What does 1/2 look like? What does 1/2 look like, McKenna?
I think it's 1/2.
Okay, so it looks something like this. Does that represent 1/2?
Yes.
Okay. And let's talk about this fraction a little bit. What's the top number called? Does anybody remember? Mackenzie, what's the top number? The numerator. Everybody say numerator.
Numerator.
Good. And the numerator represents what exactly? Logan?
The number of parts.
Okay. The number of total parts?
Just the part that you're labeling.
Good. The part that you're labeling. So this is one part. What's the bottom number called? Javiana? Denominator. And what does the denominator represent? Ivan?
The number of whatever you have in all.
Okay, so the number of what? The number of
Halves.
number halves, but each one of these is what? Well, it's the number of how many parts? It's the number of, remember the term we used? Because aren't these both the same? Are both of these the same size? So they are what? Well, they make a whole. Anybody remember? Hayden, what do you think it is? Well, this is half. This is half for sure. Kevin, do you know?
Equal.
Equal. So the bottom, okay, is the total number of equal parts. It's the total number of equal parts. And the bottom number is called the what again? Denominator. So I've labeled that 1 part of 2 equal parts. So what would I put over here then? What number would go over there? Brooke?
2-2.
2-2?
Wait. 2 dash. I meant 1 dash.
1-2 or this? Is this what you're trying to say? So what is that? What's the fraction name for that? What is it? 1/2. Okay? So, as opposed to a dash, so that would be a dash. That right there, 1-2. So I'm going to draw my line to separate my numerator and my denominator. 1/2. Okay? 1/2. Hayden.
Also, to know what 1/2 is 1/2, when you do 1,
Yes.
and put the number in, then you can just look at that one and then it will give you the answer for the other side.
Well, it can because I've got 1 out of 2, right? 1 equal part out of 2 equal parts. And so I know that if I go to the other side, that's going to be the same fraction. It's still going to be 1/2. And how many halves do I have here?
2.
I have 2 halves. I have 2 halves. And 2 halves make 1
Whole.
whole. Exactly. Okay, good. Now, let's do another one. Let's just see how well we do here. Okay. You watch me first, and then I'll let you do it. On the second one, I'm going to take my strip, and I'm going to fold it in half just like we did before. But then, now wait till I finish, and then you can do it. And then I'm going to fold it in half one more time. You're not doing this. You're not doing this. You're not. Put it down on this. Don't touch the strip until I tell you to. Then I'm folding it in half again. Okay. How many times have I folded it?
3. 2.
Twice. I folded it 2 times. Okay. Now, turn to your partner and tell your partner how many equal parts I'm going to have when I unfold this whole. Tell your partner. Tell your partner. Okay. How many equal parts I'm going to have. Nope, not yet. I want you to tell your partner how many equal parts.
1.
Got it? Okay. Okay, let's come back together. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Let's see what we have here for some results. Hey, what did you and your partner come up with?
We came up with
We came up with
4.
4 equal parts. Okay. Chloe,
4.
you say 4 too? Let's see here. Logan,
4.
4. One more. Let's see what comes. Arturo,
4.
4. Well, it seems pretty unanimous that everybody agrees that it's probably 4. Let me unfold this. Oh, look. I've got, count with me. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 4 equal parts here. How many times did I fold this?
2.
I folded it.
2 times. You're going to do the same thing with your strip. So
What does that represent? Mackenzie, how many equal parts there are? How many equal parts there are? Okay, you've got your pieces put away now, and if you don't, you should, because I don't really care if they're stacked neatly on top of each other. Let's just get them in the bag. Close the bag, and then push the bag to the center of the table. Everybody's bag to the center of the table. Put them in there, Andrew. Just toss it in. Toss it in there. There we go. Okay? Now let's look at the journal on page 227. Okay.
I don't want one in the middle.
Sit down. I would like us all to read the instructions together. Okay? Let's start on 227 up at the top here where it says use your. You ready? Here we go. Use your fraction strips to compare fractions. Right. What's that symbol? Let's go over here. What is this? What is that called? What is that called? It's a key, isn't it? Because it's got symbols and it's telling you what the symbols are. So, let's go back to our instructions. Let's go back to right. And then it's got this first symbol here. What is that symbol? Ava, what is that symbol? Can you look in the book and follow along with us? What is that symbol?
Equal.
It is?
No.
What is this symbol right here? That's why your eyes need to be up here so that you understand what I'm underlining. Okay? What is it, Ava?
Less than.
It is less than. Right there. Okay? Less than. And then the next one. What's the next one?
Greater than.
Greater than. Good. Okay? And then the last one is what?
Equal than.
All right, so let's go back and let's reread this line where it says right. Ready? Here we go. Right, less than, greater than, or equal between each pair of fractions to make a true number sentence. So let's stop right there and let's process that. So, how many symbols are you going to write in between each one of these fractions? Alexia, you're only going to write one. It's not going to be more than one symbol. And you can only use the 3 symbols that they've given you. And that's important. Because if you write anything other than what's in there, that's not going to be correct. Are we going to write multiplication or division or addition or subtraction in there?
No.
No. We're going to write less than, greater than, or equal to. Okay? Let's finish reading here. For problems 2 to 4, that's what that means, 2 to 4, okay? Draw your fraction strips to show each comparison. Do your fraction strips have to be absolutely perfect?
No.
Do your fraction strips have to be absolutely perfect?
No.
Do they have to be absolutely perfect?
No.
Should this take you all afternoon to finish?
No.
No. They're not going to be perfect. They're going to be estimates at best. Okay? All right, so let's look at number 1 here. Number 1 has fraction strips. Now let's look at this closely because these fraction strips have shaded portions. So now we're comparing shaded portions to each other. And if you look at the first fraction strip, that's almost exactly what we had on the first strip that we made. Because each one of those parts are labeled with what, Mackenzie? What's that fraction? What's the fraction in the book? Look right there. It's in there. It's 1/2, exactly. And how many shaded portions of that top strip are actually shaded?
1.
Is there 1? Okay. And so the shaded portion is equal to 1/2. Exactly. Okay? Let's look at the bottom strip. 1/4 is the fraction, but how many shaded portions are actually there on that strip, Chloe?
1.
There's only 1. And the fraction to represent that is going to be what, Chloe?
1/4.
1/4. Now, this comparison, if you look at it, you're comparing the shaded area of the strip. So if you look at the top strip, where the shaded portion has what fraction in it, Logan? What's the fraction in the shaded portion of the top strip?
1/2.
1/2. And then, Noah, if you look at the bottom strip, the shaded strip has what fraction in it?
1/4.
So I ask you, 1/2 is less than, greater than, or equal to 1/4. Quiet hands only. Brooke,
Greater than.
you say greater than. Now, why do you say that?
Because if you look at the picture, 1/4 is like half the size of 1/2.
Good observation. So the shaded portion, 1/4. Hayden, can we stop that, please?
Yeah.
1/4 is actually smaller than 1/2. So 1/2 is greater than 1/4. Ooh. Number 2 is kind of tricky because now we have to draw this in.
Oh.
Okay? But now you have to be careful because you've got to look at the fraction, and particularly, how do you know how many pieces to divide the strip into? What am I going to look at on these problems to figure out how many equal parts I actually have to have? Hayden, what do you think? What am I going to look at in my fractions to decide how many equal parts I'm going to divide my strip into?
You're gonna look at the number.
Which number?
Number.
In the fraction, there's a number. The number, and that is the what?
The denominator.
Denominator. Everybody say denominator again.
Denominator.
So when you look up here and you're trying to figure out how many sections to split this into, you need to look at the denominator. Okay? So let's do the first one.
If they don't make their marks right there, they're not going to be able to see.
They won't be. Yeah, I know.
Mr. Urkel, is this good?
Well, what I want you to do is watch Mr. Urkel first. Okay? I have to have 8 pieces. Okay? So if I do 8, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, now those aren't equal, are they? This is hard. This is going to be kind of hard, okay? Kind of hard. You know what? I wonder if we had our strips out.
Oh.
What if we used our strips on these?
That would probably work.
You know what? Let's get our strips out. Let's get our strips out. Because I tried to draw this right now, and it's not equal, is it? So I might color the wrong size when I go to color in my shaded portions. So get your strips out. And what 2 strips are you going to pull out first? The 8ths and the 4ths. The 8ths and the 4ths. So I want only those 2 strips. Only those 2 strips. The 8ths and the 4ths. I want you to lay them right on top of each other. Now when I say on top, I don't mean laying over. I mean put the 8ths on the top and the 4ths on the bottom. Or you can put them the other way. It doesn't matter. I only say put the 8ths because the 8ths is the first fraction. So put the 8ths on top, the 4th on the bottom. And then how many of those 8ths, now you're not going to really color them in. Listen to me carefully and make sure you understand. You're not going to color these things in on your strips. I want you to look at them and visualize in your head 2 8ths. Okay? Kevin, can you lay that down on the table instead of picking at it? Because you know what's going to happen? Exactly what happened over here. You've creased them and they're going to break. So I don't need you picking at it because otherwise you're going to break your strip. Lay your 8th strip down in front of you. Lay your 4th strip right above it. So you need both strips. You need your 4th strip out. And I'm going to go back to my drawings. I've got 2 4ths. I'm sorry, 2 8ths and 2 4ths. So I'm going to go back here to mine. 2 4ths, okay, is going to be that. 2 8ths is going to be this. 2 8ths is less than, greater than, or equal to 2 4ths. Okay, let's go back. Sit flat, please. Look at them. Let's go back and look at this. We've got 2 8ths and 2 4ths. I'm going to go back to my strips here. 2 8ths is here to here. 2 4ths is here to here.
2 4ths.
Now look at that. And I'll ask you again. The question is, 2 8ths is less than, greater than, or equal to 2 4ths.
Less than.
Noah?
Less than.
It is less than, because if you look at my drawing here, here's 2 4ths right here. Here's 2 8ths. Okay? It's going to be less than. So let's go back to our sheet and we'll do less than. Okay? I'd like you to simply do number 3 next. Let's just do that one next. Okay? And I'd like you to work with your elbow partner on this. Work with your elbow partner. Okay? You guys, elbow partners, work together to solve number 3. Work together to solve number 3. Get your proper strips out. Get your strips out.
I'm